ladies and gentlemen, guess what? I got mail today. I'm so excited. You got to see this. I got a package. See that? Guess who it's from? Oh, hey, right there. It's from Rich Samuels. So guess what that means? That means he sent me a book. Because it feels like a book, smells like a book, tastes like a book, must be a book. Let's open it up and find out. Get some skizzers and cut her open. See that right there. Yeah, cut it open. There we go. All right. Here we go. Looks like a book. Look at that. There it is. My life at the bottom of the food chain. No doubt you've seen the review I did on this book. Well, I have right here in my hands a signed copy. And what does it say? It says, "To Zach, here's to new friends. Thanks so much for your support, Rich Samuels." Well, I tell you what, I'm going to read a little bit of this book to you. And the reason I'm going to do that is I want your opinion. I want you to tell me if I should offer to read this as an audio book for Rich, just as a favor, for something to do for him. Because, you know, Rich has been really nice. He interviewed me on his channel. I interviewed him on my channel. It's just one of those things friends do for friends. So, we'll check it out. Let me do a little bit of reading and you tell me if I do a good enough job. How about that? Okay, let me set the stage for you here. In this part of the book, this is where Alexander, the main character, and his buddy Anthony are on the way home from school trying to avoid what they perceive as bullies that they are convinced are chasing them down to give them the beat down. All right? And this is their reaction, and this is that whole exchange, and it's really funny. And I think you're going to really like this. Alexander and Anthony split off to walk the last block home. Without any help from Alexander, Anthony kept chattering about the sleepover, rambling on as only he could about how much he liked gaming on Daryl's extra huge flat-screen televisions. "Alexander!" They hadn't gone half of a block before the loud, booming voice stopped them dead in their tracks. They turned around slowly. Alexander's heart was already thumping out of his chest. Standing on the corner were Melvin, Paul, and Ben. "Alexander!" Melvin shouted. "I want to talk to you!" "I think he's mad," Anthony whispered urgently. Alexander nodded. "I think you're right." Melvin took just one step in his direction. That was the only thing Alexander needed to see. "Run!" he screamed. Although it was a straight line to his house, Alexander knew better than to lead the enemy to home base. He charged off between the two closest houses. Anthony froze. "Where are you going?" he shrieked. "Follow me," Alexander shouted back, diving into a jumble of bushes. Alexander had all the escape possibilities committed to memory. He'd even drawn maps for every possible situation occurring anywhere within 3 blocks of his house. He called this route 4-5 because it started between the 4th and 5th houses on his street. He knew that once he got through the bushes, he could make it all the way through to the houses on the street parallel to his own. Houses he had labeled 4A and 5A. He waited at the sidewalk of the parallel street for Anthony, who stumbled out from the bushes covered with dirt, twigs, and leaves. Together they ran down the sidewalk past houses 3A and 2A, and then cut back between 2A and 1A, leading right back to houses 2 and 1, Alexander's house. Anthony was close on his heels as Alexander ran into his backyard, retrieved the screwdriver, opened the storage container, retrieved the lawnmower tire, and pried apart the tire and retrieved the house key. The instant Alexander opened the back door, Anthony shoved him in, and they both tumbled to the floor, knocking over several stacks of books in the process. Anthony crawled over Alexander, practically kneed him in the stomach, and slammed the door shut. He sat against the door for good measure. Sweating and panting, he looked at Alexander in amazement. "You were right!" Alexander could have said, "I told you so," but instead he patted Anthony's shoulder. "It's okay, you're safe now." "Do you think they had weapons?" Alexander considered the possibility. He had to keep calm for his friend, so he just said, "Probably not." Anthony did not look convinced. "How am I going to get home? They'll get me. It's okay. We lost them. They're gone. Anthony peeked outside. He looked terrified. Alexander wondered if he might even cry. I'll go with you, Alexander said quickly. We'll take the shortcut. We won't even be on the street. It still took some convincing, but eventually Anthony let his friend escort him home. They crisscrossed through a couple of backyards to Anthony's house. All along the way, Alexander watched and listened carefully for predators. Why do they hate us? Anthony asked as they reached his house. They don't hate us, Alexander explained. It's just nature. They're predators, we're prey. Anthony nodded. He'd heard Alexander say it 1,000,000 times before, but it suddenly made a lot of sense. Alexander carefully headed home without telling Anthony the one thing he knew that probably would have made him feel better. It's me they want, not you. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little snippet. Let me know what you think about an audiobook. I think I'll send this to Rich, see what he thinks. And you never know.